Hello everyone, my name is Kenneth and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. Today we are starting off with some Woosung solos. Um, as many of you have already been here know, we have been slowly deep diving into the Rose as a group, and I thought we would take a step back from that and do some of Woosung's solo stuff. So this first video is dedicated to Phase Me. We have the teaser and we have the music video. Full disclosure, I think I've heard a little bit of this song already. I think it was either popular on TikTok or I was I was one of those niche people that just happened to hear a little bit. I think I've heard this song because the title looks familiar. And I just want to give you guys that warning just in case I have heard a little bit. I know I haven't heard the entire song. Um, but yeah, I just want to give you that warning. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we're starting with the teaser. First off the bat, I love the alternate use of I think it's 4:3 aspect ratio rather than the full 16:9. Little fun fact or not fun fact about me, I guess. I hate letterboxing. um, I don't know why. So I used to like I used to like filming and cinematography and things when I was younger, and one thing that really annoyed me when I would like look on YouTube channels and stuff, was when you got videos and they would be teaching you how to edit, and one of the first things that they would do is they'd put like an artificial crop on it to make like letterboxing. So you'd have like how this is an edge to edge, it would be an edge to edge fit picture, and then they'd just be like crop, and I don't know why it just really bothered me. For the purpose of a teaser though, it does make everything like a lot more centered. If you like imagine like the rule of thirds, um, it does make it more centered. I think if this is Woosung, it's still slightly on like the third. I call it the third. Um, I don't know if that's the right thing, but it's like that line where the second and third. If you imagine the rule of threes is do 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 do, it's the it's where the second like intersects with the third. Um, it looks kind of it looks like we're in a disused warehouse kind of scene. I'm just kind of like taking everything in. So far, obviously the lamppost is kind of like a main focal point. Um, gives me Narnia vibes. Growing up, I really enjoyed the Chronicles of Narnia. It was my favorite um, children's books growing up. Was the whole series. Um, I I don't know if that's what we're going here. I don't know if that's what we're going for here, but that's what I get. There's also like we haven't even gone into it, but there's also like this. It's almost like a mummified looking thing. Um, and it's like wrapped up in horsehair or something. I don't know if it's actually horsehair. But it looks like that same kind of texture of like horsehair, and like if you ever play piano, if you ever play violin, you'll know that obviously the bowstring is often horsehair, um, and it's got that same kind of texture. Um, Woosung looks kind of regal, which is odd because purple is kind of the royal color, but he looks at least in Western contexts. Um, but he looks kind of like a powerful man. Um, but yeah, we're not even we haven't even started yet. Sorry. The other thing before we start properly is um, I noticed this like great thing. I don't know if that's actually just part of like the warehouse itself or if it was put there, but it feels deliberately put there as like a secondary focus point. Because obviously you've got the lamppost as the first one, and your eye might go to this blue because of the lack of color in the rest of the scene. Um, but then, ironically, to ground it, you have this grate here, and it kind of focuses your eye to the middle as a whole. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna watch the teaser. Okay, maybe I haven't heard this. Oh, hang on. Can I pause it? Can I be really good? Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't pause it exactly where I wanted it, but wow. Okay, first of all, makeup. I really like I'd call them storm eyes because they make me think of Halle Berry in the X-Men films and the character of Storm in the comics. Um, okay, so now changing my interpretation from the beginning. Not vampire. Not vampire. Not regal. Vampire. I suppose vampires can still be regal, but it's more of like a vampiric kind of look. He's got a very very like strong like jawline and neckline. Like look at that. Like that you could almost like put like apart from like where his Adam's apple is, like like you could almost like put a ruler from like there to there, like from where his chin goes down to his chest and upper body. Seeing the front of it, it look like the front of the outfit. Obviously, it's very hard to see the front of the outfit. Um, it looks a lot more like he's wearing chains. Obviously he's wearing a chain, but like here, like this pattern here looks more like a chain. Um, interesting. It's an interesting shot. You got like the way that the shadows are cast from. I'm assuming the lamp. That we saw, the lantern that we saw. Um, it creates this real interesting contrast. It almost looks. I don't know if this is just the way YouTube renders it, but it almost looks like his hairline. You can see his hairline, but then here it kind of renders all weird, so it kind of almost looks like a second face. I don't know if that's intentional, but it kind of looks like a second face, like trying like but like really low detail because of the lighting. Um, I really like this eye makeup. Okay, okay, so definitely we're going sexy vampire vibes. Okay. Okay. Hi. I wasn't ready for you. Please hold. I wanted to talk about this shot. You've got that blood red like color cast over it, over the entire thing. Continuing that vampiric feel. But then you have this more minimalist is the wrong word, but it's minimalist in comparison to the chains that he was wearing earlier. They're much more, if I had to use like a word, they're much more delicate. Sorry, I just realized that like some of this video is cut off. Please hold. Okay, there we go. I just noticed that. I'm so sorry, guys. Um, but yes, sorry. So yeah, this neckline looks a lot more delicate than the first set of chains we've got. But he's also got these chains on his arms. Well, I say chains, these bracelets on his arms, which kind of, apart from being like a fashion statement, obviously he's got the rings. Um, apart from that, it kind of gives me like a a contrast to the other ones. The again the other chains on his neck because There's kind of in the first in that first earlier shot, you have these really heavy looking chains. Um, and yeah, obviously, if you take the title, it's like literally they don't phase him. Like they might as well just look like this because they're not gonna contain him. They're not gonna hold him back or anything. Um, interesting butterfly. Um, obviously, butterflies are symbols of metamorphosis. They symbolize transformation, growth, and beauty. Obviously, I say that as again, he has such a striking side profile. He's obviously he's a very attractive, handsome fellow, but that sounded like the straightest thing I've ever said. Sorry, but he has an attractive face, and then but the side profile is so again it's so sharp, like genuinely it's so following the curves is so smooth. It just don't fit. Sorry, I want to go back. I want to go back. I'm pausing a lot because there's not much here, in terms of length, um, but you've got this kind of contrast between this shot and ooh, not this shot, but I can talk about this shot in a minute. Um, you have contrast between this shot and the other shot. This shot, because of the lighting and stuff like that, it feels a lot more equal, even though it's Woosung and three other ladies plus three other hands, six um other things in the video. It still looks really kind of balanced, um but it's that moment before giving up and giving into things. I really love, again, I love this makeup, and this entire look. Um, it just screams power. Okay, I'm gonna go double down on what I just said. The idea of the light going out. So Narnia lore. The lamp in the Chronicles of Narnia serves as an anchor point. It's kind of like a tracking marker in the book, of where Narnia ends and where the wardrobe is, and ultimately then where the real world, or should I say our world, lives. Um, and there's that kind of with a song like this that's obviously because of the imagery kind of more sexualized or more grown up. Um, you have this kind of very real comparison between innocence and loss. God, I sound like such an English literature student right now, but there is that kind of comparison to be made. And then when the light goes out, it's definitely it's almost like the loss, not just loss in general, and that loss of innocence, but it's the loss of the protective aspect, because in the Chronicles of Narnia there is that kind of aspect of, because it's a fantasy world, yes, a lot of things happen and stuff goes stuff goes on that's quite grown up in terms of war, and things like that, um but the symbol of the lamp in the books serves as a protector, or at least a precursor, or a preventer, I should say, to losing that innocence. And so the significance of it disappearing, of it turning off, of it going off, and then you're left with no protection, no no defense. Sorry, I was really struggling to word there. Um, it's definitely that moment where you can see that the character that Woosung is playing has fallen, or at the very least he's grown up. Um, okay, interesting. It came back on. It came back on. So I know I've done like it's odd the way I've done this. Like usually I'd like watch it through first and then usually I'd watch it through first and then I'd pause it afterwards. But I feel like doing it this way is actually more interesting because it's a trailer and it's a teaser. Um, there's a lot more detail I feel like in a lot of trailers and teasers. Um, and so like it's easy like if just to miss a lot of it. Because but also I also want to get into the song a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I feel like again this entire like just watching this, I like the way that it teases enough about, for instance, the song. I'm assuming the song sounds similar. Um, but like that, for instance, no time went by, and I feel like we got like so much like thrown at us. Um, I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, we're gonna switch. Okay, we have the music video now. And interestingly enough, we start with the same shot. I'm gonna assume compared to the teaser, there is gonna be maybe a bit more focus here. I feel like this feels like a key scene. I don't know. I might be wrong. Feel free for future me to kick me up the butt for that. Okay, three, two, one. Ooh, okay. Sound design. Sorry, pausing already. We've already been pausing a bunch. Deal with it. um, but the sound design, you have that like almost mechanical like rumble in the background. And then obviously just there you have this like fade in. I don't know what you call them. The stinger transitions, but a transitional sound between that. Um, but I feel like that's really interesting because obviously the song is called Phase Me, but then you also have the mechanical like obviously I'm not a mechanical sound effect so I can't mimic it, but you get what I mean. It kind of sounds monotonous and kind of like you're used to it, or you know what I mean, like it doesn't. I don't want to be cheesy, but it doesn't phase you. Okay, sorry, going back. It also sounds like knocking, as if like temptation, like knocking. Sorry, sorry. I just had that thought. Okay, and then you have like this light switch sound. Interesting. Um. Okay, you know what? No, I'm gonna try not to pause for a little bit. It's an interesting sound effect though. Ooh, and this is a this is a gorgeous shot. Ooh, okay.
It don't faze me, the thought of you out getting wasted.
Okay, so first thing I'm noticing about this song already, like musically, is even though it's very much a Woosung solo song, like we're only 24 seconds into the video and less than that into the song. Already this song wouldn't feel at least from right now, it wouldn't feel out of place on a Rose album, on the Rose album. Um it's got that very distinct guitar dun 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 in the background. Um, and obviously I'm not gonna mention the vocals because obviously, of course, the vocals are gonna sound like a Rose song because lead singer. You know what I mean? But it already it feels like it would fit, or it could be played potentially with the band as a whole. Sorry, I'm gonna go back.
It don't faze me.
I love the way his like breathy vocals.
Wasted, calling somebody else, baby. I don't need your love anymore.
Ooh, that was a lovely note.
Why you chase me?
Okay, yeah, definitely band song. Could be played with a full band.
And I wouldn't mind if you erase me. I don't need your love anymore. Used to breathe you, see you in my dreams. Now I wake up, you don't cut as deep. You can try and cry and kick and scream. It just don't faze me.
Okay, yep. I have heard this song on TikTok. This particular part was a sound like this was a while ago, but it was on my For You page. And I remember that whistle in the background. Not the whole song, obviously, just that little "It doesn't face me at all." That little part. That was on so many like For You page edits and stuff on TikTok. So far, I'm really liking the song. I just want to say, just to clarify, when I say like it could have a full band, I don't mean that like it doesn't have Woosung solo identity kind of image or anything like that, or like or anything like that. What I mean is it's a song that you could easily play on a tour with a full band. That's what I was kind of meaning. Obviously, earlier I said like it kind of tonally would fit with the Rose, but it definitely feels like a song that you could either play really intimate, especially with those breathy vocals in the beginning, or you could fill it out with a full band. Obviously, it's easier just to say fill it with the Rose because obviously Woosung's part of the Rose, but it's very well built up. I really like the kind of contrast between the visuals so far. You know, in the beginning of the music video, he's by himself, and there's a melancholy to his movements. You know, it's very choreographed movements. You know, here he's literally hugging himself, but contrasting that, he's telling you he doesn't care if you go sleep with someone else or fall in love with someone else um or anything like that. And it's an odd contrast because the song sounds kind of carefree in that, but there's like this tinge in it that kind of makes you feel like, or at least it makes me feel like, does he really not care, or is it a front to how he's really feeling?
Used to breathe you, see you in my dreams.
I love that breaking up of the sentence into different bits. You know, the stress is on the breathe you, see you in my dreams. And it's such a nice floating melody that helps like it helps to like cement the aspect of used to.
Now I wake up, you don't cut as deep. You can try and cry and kick and scream. It just don't faze me at all.
I'm sorry, he's got such.
Just don't phase me.
Look at that smile. That's such an interesting um that's such an interesting visual, because obviously in the beginning you almost feel like this melancholy, like again with the hugging himself, but then it turns like in comparison, and when you see this frame, it becomes a completely different image. Instead of it being like a contrasting thing, it becomes this I'm self love and self appreciation kind of thing. Um, and he just looks like he is truly like past this situation, past this relationship. Um, and then that smile is so like I'm cool. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing that radiates um a real like strength and power in oneself. Um, oh, I like it. I like this so much visually. Just because I'm kind of doubling back a lot, but because I have heard that tiny little part, it's easy for me at this moment just to do that. So I'm sorry about that if you don't like that.
Just don't phase me at all. Just don't phase me at all.
That's a thing that I've noticed about Woosung as well. Obviously, with the rose, they had the concept of kind of stripping down and getting almost to the skin. And obviously, in this video, there's a lot of shots so far where he also is kind of down to the skin. And it would be easy to kind of be like, a very like vain, like, oh, he loves himself. He he knows how attractive he is and things like that. But there's there's a kind of like there's another side to it for me where it's like again showing that confidence about himself and showing rather than arrogance just confidence and self-love. um he's in the beginning he's quite in a lot of shots quite clothed, or even in I think the hugging in the hugging part. um you know he in the hugging part he's shirtless, but like he's not in a vulnerable position. Like he's almost protecting himself. And then obviously again as the song builds and we get to that point, he doesn't feel the need to protect himself anymore, and that confidence comes out and shows like, yes, I have moved on.
Just don't phase me at all. Just don't.
There's almost as well here in this shot, like there's almost like a ceremonial ritualistic power play here, um that that celebrates Wusong. You have the ladies dancing around him and he's in the center, and it's like it's a very powerful image. um and again I really really like that.
Just don't phase me at all. Just don't phase me at all. Oh, 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 oh. Do you miss it? I
Ooh,
was all
okay.
in and committed. Thought you would change, but you didn't. And it doesn't hurt like before.
Again, with Wusung's voice, he does those like light falsetto high notes really really well. Like they're in like a general term, like falsetto like can often sound weak sounding in terms of like versus like a full like belt when you sing. But in this moment, it doesn't feel weak. And I say weak, like not in a bad way. It again, it feels light and airy, and like he's walking down the street with a skip in a step, which contrasts with the lyrics, but again, it shows how he's over it. I also love this here, the symbolism and imagery of this shot is quite beautiful. You have these dilapidated wings. I don't know if later on in the music video we're going to get to a place where those wings are bright and colorful or anything like that. But obviously, there's a moment of transition and transformation here, um, as he's talking about like going through that moment of being in that relationship, feeling all in and committed, and then getting to the point where the more confident Woosung side that we see in other parts of the music video, and as well, the reason I talked about the image, the way that the ladies are all um choreographed. Sorry, I forgot what the word was for a second there. The way that they're choreographed um gives this image of a chrysalis. He comes out.
You miss it.
He kind of looks like he comes out of the chrysalis, um, but it kind of puts a twist on what we expect from regular metamorphosis. We see like the caterpillar go in and then come out as this beautiful butterfly, but the image here is, even though he's out of the chrysalis kind of metaphor, at this point in the timeline of the events, he isn't yet ready to be that beautiful butterfly yet, and there's still that process of growing into, again, those more confident images we saw.
I was all in and committed. Thought you would change, but you didn't. And it doesn't hurt like before. Used to breathe you, see you in.
That's an interesting image. Having a woman trapped in a tank like that. And obviously, yes, she's not breathing, but she's breathing out. Um, that is such a great image of having someone on your mind constantly. Um, Literally, I think there's a lid on the top of it, of the tank. So there's no way that this image can get out, you know. Um, and again, you've got the very close to naked imagery. And again, it's easy to be like, skin deep, and be like, oh, it's sexual, da, 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 da. But again, it's that intimacy. To me, that's what it means. It's more about intimacy and the emotional connection that Woosung had with this person.
My dreams now I wake up. You don't cut as deep.
Again, the choreography here, it's all about being encased. That chrysalis metaphor again, transforming him. And notice that compared to the earlier choreography where the ladies were dancing around him and he was in black, there was no connection between them there. But versus here where there's so much connection that you can't even see the transformation. When you see a butterfly again, I'm talking a lot about butterflies, but it's a central theme here. But when you look at a butterfly, when you look at a caterpillar go into the chrysalis, you don't see every moment of the transformation. You don't see the legs transforming into wings, or the maybe the more muted colors of the caterpillar becoming more vibrant and saturated and beautiful. and I think that's what's being said here.
I wake up, you don't cut as deep. You can try and cry and kick and scream. It just don't faze me at all.
Again, even the bass line in this part is so free flowing. Um, it's not held back or held down by anything.
Just don't faze me at all.
And you've got that whistle over the top and that
Me at all. It just don't faze me at all. Oh, 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 oh. It just don't faze me at all.
Oh, okay.
Don't faze me at all.
I love that guitar in the background with a flanger on it. At least that's what I think it is. I'm not like an expert in guitars and stuff. Oh, you can't even see my hand. I probably should use this hand instead. I talk with my hands a lot. I really.
It just don't faze me at all.
It adds to it, but it doesn't take away from that free flowing bass. You can hear it and you can appreciate it, and it adds an extra layer to the musicality of the song, and builds like depth to it. But you still it's further back in the mix. Like if you were like to make like a spatial reference, the bass line's here, but it's kind of light, and then obviously you've got the vocals sitting in the same similar space, and then you've got this guitar part, and it's there, and it's quite it's quite audible. So you think like, oh, it's quite far forward, but it's mixed in a way that it's pulled back, and if you imagine it like almost on a diagonal to the rest of the song, um,
Faze me at all. It just don't faze me at all. It just don't faze me at all. It just don't faze me at all.
look at all these people that made this happen. This is so cool. All of these amazing people came together. Wow. That is so cool. Anything afterwards? No, okay, just the branding. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I really like this. Obviously, yes, I kind of got spoiled by TikTok. But this was before I knew anything about the Rose or anything about Woosung. Um, I think this is a perfect first song for anyone to listen to to be introduced to Woosung as a solo artist rather than as part of the Rose. You have, again, in the beginning, you have that kind of familiar or like expected kind of sound. But again, that is not a bad thing, and it's not like it's devoid of his identity as a solo artist because of that. But it shows, in fact, it shows more about him because he has this kind of sound to him, um, that you can associate with him. Um, I genuinely really 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 like this song because it has like a very clear storyline. Um, it has really really nice lyrics. Obviously, you have that very strong hook. It just don't face me at all. It's such a simple. It's such a simple line, but it works so well. Um, and it gets in your head, which is what a good hook does. Um, the visuals, again, all those people that worked on the entire music video, the cast and crew, um, they really came together to make a really interesting music video and really interesting storyline. Um, Sorry. I've said so much about this song already. Um, I really have. Yeah, I've said so much about this song already, but final thoughts. A great song, great cinematography, great choreography. Everything in general, music videos are very intended in how things are presented, but this was very well choreographed and very intentional in everything that it did. Um, Woosung looked great, sounded great. Um, I think if you came onto this song in a store, supermarket, or on the radio in the car, somewhere where you weren't necessarily looking for the song, it would be a kind of it would be a song that you would definitely go to look for afterwards. It would be one of those songs that you'd be like on aisle four, and you'd hear it and you'd be like trying to like I don't know if anyone else did this as a kid, but like I'd be like trying to like when I was with other people, I'd be trying to like listen to the music as kind of like a grounding technique when I was out and when I was younger, and I would try and be like trying to listen to it even though like in like a supermarket and stuff like that, it's impossible to do that. And then like especially like in the early days of like YouTube and stuff like that, I would go searching for the song afterwards. And I think this is the exact kind of song that you do that with. Um, I really enjoyed it. Um, and I'm not even. I'll be honest. I'm not even mad that I didn't um go into this 100% spoiler free. Hearing the little like 20-second snippet of the main hook and the instrumental there, it doesn't take away from the rest of the song. And I really like it. So yeah, thank you guys everyone so much for watching. This has been my reaction to Phase Me by Woosung. Um, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys. Bye.